Hello everyone, happy spring. Savvy Transformation, episode 5. Today we're going to talk about, are you letting others define the parameters of your life, where you want to be, who you want to be? I know I've been there, and I'm sure everyone listening in has been there at one point or another, where you let others, whether it be your school, the people you work with, your family, decide who you are, where you should be in your life. So I'm going to go back to the beginning of my work career. I got hired very early on, my very first job, working in a copy center. It was a really great position at first. You know, it was a lot of fun. Everyone was my age, mostly artists. And we worked in a copy center uptown Manhattan, actually. And very shortly after that, I then got hired as a floater into 40 different law firms around New York City, working in the mailroom, making their copies. Awesome at first, very interesting, never boring, always skipping around from one law firm to another. After a certain amount of time, you learn all the tricks of the trade, how to make the perfect copy no matter what, and it gets a little boring. So at that point, I wanted out. So I went to management and said, hey guys, what do I do to make it up into a corporate position, some white collar, sit at the front desk, answer phones, copying, anything I could do to get out of the mailroom. Well, essentially, I was laughed right outside the office, said, nice try, get out. HR didn't want to hear from me. They're pretty much like pigeonholed me. And if any of you have ever worked a service type position, whether janitor, cleaner, you kind of get looked upon as not all important. I mean, when I had my blue shirt on in the mailroom, pretty much everyone ignored me. I was invisible. So HR didn't want to hear none of it. And at that point, I made a decision, and I know David Nagel has talked about this in a number of episodes, that it really comes down to the key of making a decision of what you want. And at that point, I said, I cannot stay in a mailroom for the rest of my life making copies. So at that point, I made a decision inside that I am going to get out of here. I don't know how, because at that point, every single time I went to apply for a position, they said, okay, we need you to have experience in whatever thing you want to work in. Well, it's kind of hard to get the job if you don't have experience, right? So they first want experience, but I don't have it yet. So what I decided to do is make myself indispensable at the law firm. No one knew who I was. I came in a couple days without my blue shirt, introduced myself to a number of people in different departments, and said, if you ever need any help, I'm here to help, free of charge, no pay, to learn what's going on. So the first thing that picked me up is the accounting department. They were ready to close the books, and they were really behind in entering all the bills for that month. And I made friends with a person in that department, the manager, and said, hey, I'm willing to help off the books and help you enter all these bills. And just show me what you need done, I'll help you. And so I don't know if that would work in all big companies and businesses, but here it did. She actually showed me the ropes pretty quickly. It was mostly like data entry. Entered all the bills, worked on it for the next week, helped them get up to date so they could close their books. And then from that point on, I was able to put that on my resume. Now, most resumes wanted to have a little bit more experience in a week, so I fudged it. I think I put 2 years experience working in billing and data entry, and I had 2 years experience on computers. Now, this was the end of the 80s, so computers were just entering the workforce. A lot of people were still doing accounting and all that stuff, in general, working on, paper. So it was the perfect time for me to get in, and the first job interview I finally got accepted to do outside of copying was an accounting position doing billing at a fashion firm. And so they looked at my resume and said, okay, you don't have a lot of experience, but we're going to hire you, and they hired me at an entry-level salary. But it was my step into the world of corporate America. In fact, I remember getting hired and being shown to my desk and going, angels were singing, and I had my very first desk job. But the bottom line is, some people say that you got to do things exactly as you're told, don't go outside the box. And really, I had to find a way to get out of there. And since everyone was telling me, you either need to go back to school, get an education, which was not feasible for me at the time. I didn't have the money to do that, nor did I have any actual desire or inkling about what I'd want to study at that point in time. So anyway, doing what I did, making myself indispensable, finding another route, whether it even be working off the books to help someone and get them to notice me, was my way to get into the corporate world. And so I challenge you all, listening in. If anyone in your life says whatever you want is not possible, just look for ways to go about it in a different way, whether it be going through different channels or whatever it might be. But do not accept no for an answer, and go get your dream. God bless everyone. Have a wonderful spring day.